What's up everyone, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. It's time to read about some more seriously unhinged people, so let's get right into it. Secretly recording my professor making sexist remarks and getting him fired. I, 26 male, am in my final year of university, and I had a professor, Dr. R, who always made weird, borderline inappropriate comments. At first, I thought he was just old-fashioned, but over time I realized he was blatantly sexist. It started subtly. He would call on male students more often and dismiss female students' answers as lucky guesses. But as the semester went on, his comments became worse. He once said in class, "Women just aren't as naturally gifted in logic-based subjects." And another time, when a girl asked a question, he laughed and said, "If female students spent less time worrying about their looks and more time studying, maybe they'd get better grades." Whenever we had a difficult topic, he'd smirk and say, "This might be a little hard for the girls, but don't worry, just smile at your lab partners and they'll help you out." Then one day he completely crossed the line. A girl in my class wore a tank top because it was hot outside. Nothing inappropriate, just normal summer wear. He paused the lecture and said, "Wow, dressing like that for extra credit? Bold strategy." Some people laughed awkwardly, but the girl looked mortified. She barely spoke for the rest of the class. That was when I decided to start recording. Over the next few weeks, I captured multiple instances of him making sexist comments. The worst was when he joked that women should focus on easier fields because STEM was too stressful for them. That one really pissed me off because there were girls in the class working their asses off, and he was acting like they didn't belong there. I compiled everything and submitted it anonymously to the university's disciplinary committee. They launched an investigation, and within a month, Dr. R was fired. Now some of my classmates, mostly the guys, are pissed at me. They say I ruined a man's career over a few jokes, and that I should have just ignored him. But a lot of the female students have thanked me, saying they've been uncomfortable in his class for years. What I don't get is how anyone can rationalize that OP was the one who ruined his career. All he did was bring the university's attention to the professor's behavior. What they decide to do about it is up to them. I mean, if the university went as far as to fire this professor simply because they found out how he was acting, then maybe, just maybe, it's the professor's fault, and not the student that just let the university know what he was doing. OP didn't ruin his career. The professor did that on his own. And if he talks this way with his students, just imagine how he must handle, fair grading and assessment of his students' performance. OP probably saved a lot of the students from having to work twice as hard in his class just to pass, simply because they're women. Project manager said, "If it's a problem, the pressure test will catch it." Alright then, let's find out. Back when I was a junior engineer, I was working with a piping contractor supporting a gas plant project that was in the final stretch before commissioning. We were under intense pressure to hit deadlines and everyone was feeling the heat. One of my responsibilities was reviewing materials before installation, i.e. basic quality control, to make sure we weren't about to install something that would bite us later. Then the pipes arrived. These were large diameter, high pressure pipes for a critical gas line. The mill markings didn't match the material certificates, and some of the weld seams looked rough. When we took a closer look, we found surface defects and laminations at the bevel, classic signs of poor quality steel from a dodgy mill. I flagged it immediately. My lead engineer took one look and agreed. These pipes weren't fit for purpose. We raised it with the project manager, expecting him to do the obvious thing, that is to reject the batch and order replacements from an approved supplier. But this PM wasn't like most project managers. He wasn't an engineer, had a Bachelor of Commerce, and had landed the job thanks to his uncle, a senior executive. He had zero technical knowledge and didn't care to learn. To him, just another job to push through quickly to up his bonus. And rejecting the pipes would cause delays, something he was desperate to avoid since it would probably affect his bonus. His response? The supplier says they meet specs, so they meet spec. Just install them and move on. I pushed back, explaining that if these pipes failed under pressure, we were looking at a major incident. He waved me off. "Just get it done. If it's a problem, the pressure test will catch it." Alright mate, let's see how that goes. The pipes were installed as is, and we moved on to pressure testing. I stood back and watched. As we ramped up the pressure, the pipe's weld seam split wide open and ruptured the pipe. The force of the failure sent a shockwave through the system, and a few of the pipe supports even bent. The pressure tests failed, spectacularly. Now, instead of a minor delay to replace the pipes before installation, we had a catastrophic failure that shut down work for weeks. The entire line had to be cut out, re-welded, and retested. The supplier was blacklisted, and an internal investigation was launched into how the pipes had been approved in the first place. We were also made by the client to bear the cost of rework. As expected, the project manager tried to shift the blame, but my lead engineer simply pulled up the email chain where he had clearly raised the defect concerns. Management didn't take long to connect the dots. The project manager was taken off the project immediately and was sacked a month later following initial investigation results, and even his uncle couldn't save him. Never saw him again after that, and last I heard, he decided to pursue a career outside of the industry. Boomer trying to deport me. Context: I was born in the eastern, formerly communist part of Central Europe and migrated to the US as a teen in the 90s. My family, extended and close, have been either living or moving back and forth between continents since the 1920s. Most of us have dual citizenship. It just happened I was born there and lived there until my teen years, so I retain some accent when I speak English, especially when I don't think about sounding American. The setting: the other day I was at a local outdoor ice cream shop in New England getting a dessert. I noticed that the kid working there has the same name as me. It's not a typical Anglo-Saxon name. So I make a note of that, ask him if he speaks the language in English, and we strike a quick convo in the other language as he gets the ice cream ready. A boomer enters the stage. A 60, 70-ish man behind me starts grunting at first, and quickly goes into a rant about immigrants holding up the line, taking up jobs, etc. I turn to him, look at him, and turn back as the kid hands me the cone. As I turn to walk, the boomer spits out, "Go home, you effing," insert a derogatory name for a person from that part of Europe. I don't usually get mad over imbeciles, can't fight stupid. In this case, I feel obligated to say something because of the kid behind the counter, so I do. I believe we are all from somewhere else. Even your ancestors are not Native Americans. Please behave in a manner that sets an example for a younger generation and be respectful. The boomer gets red in the face and spits out something about taking jobs and not giving anything in return. Something, incoherent words. "Show me your green card, I'm going to call the police on you." I turn to the kid, say, "Stay cool, kid." Shrug at the boomer and say, "I hope you enjoy your ice cream," in the heaviest accent I could manage, and sit down at the bench to enjoy my double vanilla. Now the boomer is lit. The rant continues. Police calling, immigration, and deportation are mentioned several times. I don't even think he remembers why he is there. The finale. As the rant goes into effect, a local PD squad car pulls up, and the police officer steps out and gets in line for ice cream. What are the odds? The boomer jumps to him and demands my immediate arrest and deportation. The officer is rather surprised and taken aback, but calms down the man. He is now also obligated to do something since a citizen informed him of the potential violation of the law. The officer walks up to me and asks if there is a problem. I say no, except for the derogatory remarks and obvious verbal harassment of myself, but I don't see a reason for confrontation as long as the gentleman stops right now. The boomer is now in code red. The officer tells him to calm down and step back or he will be put in handcuffs for his safety. It works. He steps back, but yells about immigrants and green card. Please mind that I am still as cool as a cucumber. The officer turns to me and, with guilt in his eyes, asks me if I have any ID on me. I know I don't have to show him anything, but I am also not a jerk, don't need to escalate things, and as I am having a blast internally with this entire situation, I believe it's about to run its course. "Sure," I say. "Here it is, officer," with my best New England accent, as I hand him my ID from my wallet. The officer looks at it, smirks, hands it back, and says, "Thank you, sir, enjoy your day." Turns to the boomer. "Sir, please stop harassing minors and veterans or I will have to remove you from the property." He walks away to his cruiser. I stand up and walk to my car. The boomer is left standing there like an idiot being judged by the remaining patrons. The end. Postscriptum. I'm just sorry the officer didn't get a chance to get his ice cream. I think he just wanted to remove himself from there before he was forced to handcuff the old man. Also, I've been in the military for 24 years now. Someone asked, people who had a one-night stand that turned into an actual nightmare, what happened? And here's one of the responses. The commenter said, guy picked me up for dinner. He proceeded to not order anything, said he wasn't hungry, but told me to get whatever I wanted. I ordered an appetizer, and as we talked, he started making advances. I thought he was super hot, so when we suggested we go to his place, I was like, yeah, let's go. Go to his place, have extremely mediocre sex, I go home. Thought he was a bit weird and wasn't interested. He messaged me the next day asking if we could get together again. I declined, told him I had a good time but didn't really feel like there was a good connection, and good luck. He kept texting, insisting that I should go out with him again. Finally, I blocked his number. A few weeks later, I come home to a note on my front door in my controlled access apartment building from him. He had picked me up from the front door of the building previously, and I had never told him my apartment number. The note said he expected me to reimburse him for the appetizer I had ordered, a whopping $4.99. I rolled my eyes, thought, what an effing creep, and threw the note away. About a week later comes an angry pounding on my front door. I peek through the peephole and see it's him, pounding on the door for all he can. I didn't open the door, but I called security and had him removed from the premises. I was a bit shaken up by it, but I got over it. The next day, I go out to my car for work, and that psycho had keyed my car front, sides, and back repeatedly, $1,400 to get it repainted. I have no idea how he even knew which car was mine. He even stole my windshield wipers for some reason. I called the police. They called him and told him to back off. He tried to tell them he, quote, paid me for sex, meaning the appetizer, and that I owed him $4.99. Took out a restraining order against him and never heard from his psycho ass again. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. And as always, if you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Reddit content like this. So have an awesome day everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.